Kelly Shaw with the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. Brody has taken us from the town of Escada along the Clackamas River to the Brook Ranger Station to the Lake of Harriet. He's near the abandoned mines checking up on a Bigfoot sighting report that happened in the winter of 1996. The couple wanted to remain anonymous, so the married couple, the man's going to go by C, and the woman is going to go by J. They were here exploring the site of the abandoned mines about 3/4 of a mile from the Harriet Dam located along the Clackamas River drainage. The area is about 30 mine openings on steep hillsides that surround the Shell Rock Creek. The mine in question had a stake on it sometime recently, but has been abandoned since. Jay, the wife, entered this defunct horizontal mine through a framed access hole about 5 feet high and 6 foot wide. She noted a fairly strong dead smell combined with sewer inside the mine entrance. As she played her high-powered flashlight about from a few feet into the cave, it shone on a shaggy, silver-grayed, hairy Sasquatch, sitting against the wall with its knees pulled up to its chest and its head hidden by holding down its face into its arms. It was about 12 feet away from Jay. She fled hastily, telling her husband what she had seen. Although he didn't see it, and they both left the area promptly, they observed no footprints since the ground was rocky. 2 days later, they returned with another adult friend and his father and stepmother to explore the entire length of the mine. It's about 400 feet deep. They found about 8 large bird nests, pack rat nests, and saw some bats and pack rat. In addition, they found a larger bedding site. The latter measured about 4 feet by 4.5 feet oval in outline, with sticks at its base. Above that, about 1 inch of dry composted leaves, and on top of that, about a 1 inch progressively fresh greenery. Total thickness of the nest was about 3 inches. It looked as if the bed had been intermittently replenished with fresh vegetation that had been in the location for some time to allow the lower layers to disintegrate. An inventory of the identical vegetation consisted of western red cedar, incense cedar, big leaf maple, Douglas maple, red alder, cow parsnip, licorice ferns, moss, lichens, and mushrooms. The Douglas maple leaves and ferns were green and quite fresh and formed the uppermost surface. Microscopic searching through the contents of the nest yielded only some rodent hairs, but no primate examples. Jay had nightmares and did not want to enter the cave again, allowing the rest of the party to do the exploring. The group also noticed a large piece of chewed Brussels sprout stalk outside the cave. Its apex thoroughly poked down to a fibrous stalk, and the surface of the stalk below the tip where the sprouts used to be, chewed for some distance by obviously blunt teeth. The nearest location where the Brussels sprouts were grown is about 10 miles away. The Clackamas River drainage is low elevation with dense mixed deciduous evergreen forest and is the scene of many past Sasquatch encounters. We're going to bring you some more Bigfoot sightings in this area. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. Here is another Bigfoot sighting from out of the Clackamas River area. This took place February 21st, 2001, and it's the Brook Bigfoot sighting. Brody Lewis is bringing us the footage. Thank you, Brody Lewis. He now lives along the Oregon-Washington border, so you're going to be seeing a lot more Bigfoot expeditions from Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. 1/4 mile east of the Brook Ranger Station on Forest Road 4631, the witness, Rick S., he wants to stay anonymous, was turning his truck around and looking out the back window. There were 2 students from the local Job Corps Center with him, and they had been painting on some Forest Service buildings near the helipad. The creature, A male, dark in color, total red, skinny and agile, 5 to 6 feet tall, was also very muscular, was seen running across the road north to south, jumping down from the slope onto a game trail and running very swiftly across the road with bent knees, out of sight down hills towards Marshy Stallion Creek. It was very cloudy this day with no wind, but one ray of illuminating sunlight through the trees, the creature actually had ran through it, giving the witness what he says like a frame in the movie. The creature was illuminated perfectly with the sun, with the asphalt road to the background. The creature was only 200 feet away, and the sun was probably giving some type of a backlight situation. It was 11:30 a.m., the elevation 1,600 feet. Later, when the witnesses and the students got to where they could make a phone call, he called a friend that he knew was into investigating Bigfoot sightings. The guy's name was Jerry, and he come in with a friend that he calls Trapper Steve. The witness said to them, him and both the students had an overwhelming feeling of warning to get out of the area, that they were being watched after he had seen the creature. The two students had not seen the creature, but they had the same feeling, and they immediately left the area. Upon investigation, they did a size comparison. Trapper Steve, who was 6 feet tall, in boots and very stocky, he stood where the creature was. The witness said that the creature was at least 2 feet taller than Steve, and was a lot more muscular, a lot more stocky built. And Steve was a good candidate. He's a very large, muscular man. The creature was in its classic arm forward, backward running pose when it ran across the road. Said the hair hung down under the extended arm 4 to 6 inches, and the hair was reddish brown. The creature was very hairy and covered in very long hair, including the head, and said it wasn't fur, it was hair. It also made a point with the raised foot, and the pad of the foot aimed towards him as it was running away, and he says it was padded like a dog's. He said the head also come to a crest or a peak. He did not see the face because of the creature's direction of travel, and he said the creature was muscular and fast. Trapper Steve actually located footprints that looked like they were at least 15 inches in length, I believe, and he followed them down an elk or a deer trail, and this, I believe, was a couple of days after the sighting. He also found a place where it looks like the creature bedded down or hid behind a rotted stump, perhaps a place where it had hid from these guys after it ran off down this game trail. Well, we're going to bring you some more Bigfoot sightings. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. 2 weeks later, a couple may have had a Bigfoot encounter in the Clackamas River area. It was March 2nd in the afternoon. They both want to remain anonymous, so we'll call them Jim H. and his girlfriend Gay. They hiked up a removed road. This road had been closed and then removed, but they hiked it up to Fish Creek, about 2.5 miles. They backpack camped, and the second night is when they had activity. They were up there for 2 nights. On Saturday night, Jim heard what was light sustained movement in the brush around camp, just after dark and before bed. Just before dawn, he was awakened by a strong skunky smell. After sunrise, he checked the area and found 2 fresh footprints in the duff about 50 feet from camp. He says they were very clear, close together, and about 15 inches long. Jim feels confident that his camp was visited by a Bigfoot. He says he tends to be very skeptical on the side when it comes to finding Bigfoot tracks, but because he knows they were the only one there, and hearing the activity and smelling the odor at night, he really thinks they were visited by Bigfoot. A gentleman named Cliff, he come and investigated the area because of the sightings and this couple's ordeal. And up at Frog Lake, just north of Ripple Brook, he glassed across the ravine through the trees with 19 times binoculars what he thinks may have been a Bigfoot or possibly a bear walking on hind legs just out of semi hibernation. I don't know, maybe bears walk on hind legs when they come out of hibernation. This could explain a lot of Bigfoot sightings. Now, he thinks it was probably a bear that he saw across the way. It was good weather that day, and it was going down through a lower pass. So, great area for Bigfoot sightings. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on bringing you more Bigfoot sighting reports. Brody writes, Oregon man goes missing near Mount Hood. Many believe he may have been taken by a Sasquatch. The gentleman went on a 2-week fishing expedition in the Shell Rock Lake area and never returned, his vehicle still sitting at the trailhead. Many months before, an acquaintance of his took his daughter fishing at Shell Rock Lake. He called in a frantic, saying his daughter and several other fishermen were chased out of the area by a Sasquatch. They hightailed it out of there and stopped to report the incident at the Forest Service ranger station. Now, some months later, this guy just vanishes in the same exact area. Search team continues to look for the missing camper in the area of Rock Lakes near Mount Hood. Clackamas County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team responded to the area on Sunday after Michael Bissell reported his brother Robert Bissell missing. Wednesday, the search area has been expanded and additional resources arrived in hopes of locating Robert. Ground searchers, canine search units, a helicopter arrived. The Oregon Army National Guard's Charlie Company 7-158 Aviation has committed a UH-60L Black Hawk helicopter and crew to fly the area. Canine search teams have been provided by the NORSAR, the Yaw Mill County Sheriff, and CRESA. Search crews are expanding to search the additional trails, nearby lakes, streams, and wilderness areas possibly traveled by Bissell. Aircraft have flown the area in search patterns the last 2 days and are on standby today for further operations, said Sergeant James Rhodes, a Clackamas County Sheriff spokesman. Robert, 57, of Washington, went to the Roaring Creek area July 12th for a fishing and camping trip, but Michael couldn't find him on July 19th. Michael went back on Saturday, but nothing had changed at Robert's campsite, prompting the search launch Sunday. Investigators say Robert is an experienced outdoorsman and is familiar with the area. Bissell's 1989 Nissan Sentra was located at the Shell Rock Lake Trailhead, trail number 700 in the Mount Hood. Mr. Bissell's campsite was located off Trail 5112 in the Rock Lakes basin of the Mount Hood. Bissell's hair and beard are gray in color. Anyone who has had personal contact with Mr. Bissell in this remote area since July 12, 2010, please contact the Clackamas County Sheriff tip line. I hope they find Mr. Bissell. From what I understand, he's still missing. Some are blaming it on Bigfoot. I know that mountain lion and bear will take people and drag them off, or perhaps Mr. Bissell got lost. So if anyone has information about his whereabouts, please let the Clackamas County Sheriffs know. Very unfortunate. I hope it wasn't Bigfoot, but it sounds like the Bigfoot had gotten very aggressive in this area. We brought you several sighting reports in the area. If you're going to go Bigfooting or anywhere in the woods, please go in twos or more. You never know when you're going to blow out a knee, break a leg, and you're going to need that buddy as your emergency line out of there. So when you go squatching, please be smart about it. Please be safe. Go in pairs. Bring emergency provisions. and really check the maps out before you go in the area, and never go into the forest or woods without your basic compass. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. We love bringing you these sighting reports. We're in the Clackamas River area. Great Bigfoot sighting hot spots. I'm going to let Brody take you down by the lake so that you guys can have a look around.